Hey, so can money bring you happiness? Well, this is an interesting question because I think a lot of people believe that having more money is going to make them happy, or at least happier. There's this idea that if they win the lottery, that they'll have these millions of dollars and then they can buy the car and the house they want, and they'll be able to afford all the fun things that they want to do and go on vacation, and they won't have to work anymore, and life will be just great. But statistics actually show that people that do win the lottery typically burn through all that money in a matter of a year or two and don't have anything to show for it. They end up with losing all of it, and basically in the end not having anything, but maybe they got a house out of it or something, but they end up, because they don't know how to manage their money, going into debt and losing everything that they had in the first place that they got from their winnings from the lottery. So what does that tell you? That probably tells you that if you don't know how to handle money, that having it isn't going to do you any good. And the people that have it, only have it and are able to keep it, are those people that have learned how to handle it. So, can money bring happiness? If you knew how to manage your money, could it bring you happiness? I don't think it can. I don't think money has the capability of bringing happiness to anybody. The only thing where it may help, this is the only caveat that I have to this, is if somebody is at such a poverty level that they don't have any ability to feed themselves. And then even there, it isn't really money that person needs. It's just that they need food, and maybe, who knows, maybe shelter. They need the basics, the basic necessities. The problem with having lots of money is that when you get to the point in life where you have it all, you have everything you want, or everything that you thought you wanted. Let's say that you became famous and you got your fortunes and you were a celebrity. And let's say it was in the music industry and you had platinum records and people loved you for all the music that you put out, and they basically went to all your shows and your concerts were sold out, and you were on top as far as making music and making money. And you could go anywhere you want. You could do anything you wanted to do because of the resources that you had. You could get into any club. You could buy any drinks. You could afford to spend copious amounts of money on all your friends and family. But then what? Let's say that you got all of your toys. You have you have your jet, you have your boat or boats, you have cars, you have the house or houses. You've been traveling all over the world, doing world tours for your concerts. You have all of it. And yet, there's an emptiness. Because the happiness is not in having all of those things. The happiness is being content with wherever you are right now. So, if you even listen to the music of some of the most famous artists who got popular at a very young age, you can tell that they feel pain. And the money hasn't resolved that pain. Now, they can afford therapists, they can afford counselors, they can afford anything that they want. They can get any kind of therapy, any kind of medical treatment, whatever, and yet they still deal with pain. Emotional pain is what I'm talking about, whether it's loneliness or dealing with issues that may have had to do with how they grew up. And they have emotional baggage that they're working through. Now, the thing is that when you do make it to the top and you realize that you still have that shit that keeps that happiness just out of reach, it's very disconcerting, because making it hasn't really gotten you to where you wanted to be. That is, happy. It hasn't gotten you that elusive happiness that you thought that all that money and all of those things would bring you. And when you get to that point, it's very depressing. Larry Crane, who became a multimillionaire, actually talks about this. He says he got to the point in his life where he had everything that he had ever dreamed of having and more. He was a multimillionaire businessman living in California, doing well in everything. He had the family, he had the home, the boats, the cars, everything. The business that was doing great. And it was then he was at this point where it's like, well, now what? And he said he was at a point where he felt like just going to the edge of a building and jumping off, because life seemed pointless. It was like, how am I going to get the happiness that I want if I've gotten everything that I want and I'm still unhappy? I still feel this emptiness, like there's not whatever it is that I need there. And then he met somebody who actually changed his life. And this person was Lester Levinson. And that man showed Larry how to release the negative emotions that were actually preventing him from enjoying his life right now. And he brought him down that path of letting go of the anger, letting go of the bitterness, letting go of the sadness of his past. And it was through that relationship with Lester and learning how to let go of all of this emotional baggage that he had, that he was able to finally find the happiness that had eluded him for all those years. So, that is why money is not a solution to the unhappiness problem. It may be a solution for other problems, like if you don't have enough to eat, or you don't have the resources that you need in order to satisfy the needs of yourself and your family members, then money can resolve that issue. But you may find that by releasing the negative emotions, releasing the pride, releasing the programming that you grew up with, that doors will open to allow you to experience the abundance that life has to offer that was impossible for you to reach before. So do the releasing. Release those negative emotions. Go into them instead of avoiding them. If you have anxiety, allow yourself to feel the anxiety and go into it instead of trying to distract yourself from it or trying to deal with the thoughts that are triggering the anxiety, trying to reason yourself out of it. Instead of doing that, go into the sensations in the body and feel it, and then ask yourself if you can let it go. That's all I have for today.